Hey guys, it's your boy Soteban Sumiranichi, as they call me out here. Totally hands-free. So, as you can tell, the storm came, but I'm not worried, I may have lost a couple of important things, but I prefer to say that I misplaced them. And things that I misplace always have a funny way of coming back to me. Because just today I went to Maury's Burgers, hoping to get a good burger. This place was freaking packed. I guess something to do with the 3-day weekend, some kind of holiday that I'm not privy to. And because they were so packed, they ran out of things super fast. But it's a good thing I went because they had this. I thought I misplaced it a couple weeks ago, but they had this, so it was a good thing I went. I'll get you next time, Maury's Burgers. Mark my word. You keep closing before I get to you, but one day I'll get you when you're open and you're not super busy and I can actually get a hamburger. A freaking decent hamburger, don't get me wrong, I love the Japanese stuff. But, every once in a while I need some good American food. And boy, do they make some good hamburgers that really thick. They have some really thick bacon that is just so juicy. I love it. Oh, I also gave a talk today at church. It was about Jesus is my Savior, but I did it all in Japanese. I typed it up, put it through ChatGPT to translate it into Japanese, but using the alphabet. Then I sent it over to my brother-in-law to fact check it, because he speaks Japanese a little, because he served a mission here in Japan. And yeah, I got it and read it at sacrament meeting. Didn't really know the vast majority of the words I was saying, but I got the gist of it because I wrote the talk and I knew what it said in English. So that was nice. That was really interesting. The members were pretty impressed by it. I didn't need a translator. I just read the Japanese. I had to re-say a couple of things, but it went over pretty good. And then for school, a lot of you have been asking me to actually film my activities. So here is a quick montage of me filming some things. Now, when it comes to school, however, it's a little tricky because I'm not allowed to film the students or the teachers. I'm not allowed to name drop them. I'm not allowed to say what the schools are on camera. But I don't know, I'll have to check if I can still at least get pictures of the classrooms or whatever. There's some legal stuff that goes down with it. I'll have to check before I can do that. But for school, we did this debate thing that was pretty cool for junior high school. So I just found this thing online, on ALTopedia. It was a debate thing based on the textbook that we're using. It's just kind of a very simple, this A versus B, A is better than B, list 3 reasons, 1, 2, 3, and then write it down, and then just kind of go around in a circle and say why in a group, why this and ABC, and then let the next person go. It was all pretty fun. Didn't have too much trouble. I'm supposed to do it again and just come up with a whole bunch of new topics, so that's just what I'm doing, just coming up with new stuff on the fly. It would be cat versus dog, or city versus town, or lots of stuff like that. So that was fun. And then for this upcoming one, I'm hoping to do stuff like books versus movies, Ghibli versus Disney, Disneyland versus Universal Studios, some fun stuff like that. Harry Potter 1 versus 2. Because, Harry Potter's big over here, especially the first 2 movies where they're just little kids. They love movies that are just about little kids, Home Alone is surprisingly big, even when it's not Christmas time. So it was fun. And then for the other class, it was I Want You To. So I had a list of things that I was going to be like, to remember, oh, they can say this. And then I was going to have them do telephone, like, oh, I want you to, and then go back, and they'd have to do the thing, but maybe mess it up along the way. That didn't work out very well. Tried it a little bit with a student, but the teacher was like, maybe that's not the best way to go. So I was like, okay. So he ran down, he took my paper of things and just copied a whole bunch of them, and then we just put them into groups and had them go around playing Jonkin, and loser and the winner would go at it, and the winner would be like, I want you to do this, do a funny thing. So that was fun. I just gotta remember that for the future. And then the elementary schools have been going pretty good so far, I guess. There's usually not a whole lot to talk about the elementary schools. I'm always more excited to talk about the junior high schools. But let's see here. Oh yeah, I keep doing this one thing with students where when we're talking about directions, I have them stand up and be like, go right, go left, go straight, go back. Learning about directions. Kids always love it. And then when I get a kid to come up and actually do it, they always try to ram everybody into one wall or ram them all outside. It gets pretty fun. Yeah, I guess the elementary schools have been pretty fun. They've been mainly just kind of super straightforward, just follow the book. So, nothing new to really report there. But I do want to show you guys something interesting that I've been trying to do with my Japanese. So let's go inside and I'll show you. So this is how I've been doing my Japanese studies. I have this app that shows me some phrases and shows me how to write it in Japanese using the writing system. And I don't know if I'm improving at all with this. But, I've shown it to a couple of Japanese people and they seem to think it all looks pretty good, decently readable. Got several pages worth of this. I don't know everything in this book. Sometimes I need to go through it and relearn some stuff, but yeah, I'm about halfway through the book. So that's fun. And then with this, I don't know if I've shown you this before, learning Japanese with manga. It's not like actual manga that they print, but it's manga they made specifically for this book. And it's pretty cool. They talk about the writing system. This is hiragana. This is like their basic writing. You see this a lot of places. It's kind of like your basic, it's kind of like the alphabet, but it's like more than one letter. And something about Japanese writing is it's always, whenever you got one letter, unless it's a vowel, a singular vowel or N, there's always going to be a vowel accompanied with a letter. So like, for example, my name in Japanese is Suteban. You gotta follow basically every letter with a vowel. Unless it's like an SH. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And that's like for essential Japanese words. Then you got your You got katakana, which is like, it's a lot of the same stuff. There's some differences as hiragana, but this is like for names and foreign words. Like I started writing a couple of names down there. I don't know if you can see that super well because it's kind of weirdly blurry, but yeah. I'm writing some Naruto names. So like, yeah, you can look through this and try to figure out how to spell your name in Japanese. They don't use L's, so if you got L's in your name, you use an R instead. And sometimes a V becomes a B. They don't really use a whole lot of V's. It's usually B's. Like my name's Soteban. And then my last name is Sumirenichi. So it's been fun going through that, and then going through the comic panels, try to figure out what they're saying, like sort of flipping back and forth, trying to decode secret messages. Like I feel like Ralphie from Christmas Story.
G. Oh, be sure to what?
And doing some practice there. And then kanji is an interesting whole other thing. So like originally when the Chinese came to Japan, the Japanese didn't have their own writing system, and the Chinese they're all super complicated, and so they have like their own little writing system. These are like kanji comes from China, but the problem was Japanese already had their own way of saying things. So like they had to come up with hiragana and katakana to write specifically Japanese stuff or foreign words that they come across. And so the history kind of shows you briefly what the history of kanji is like. It's sort of like they start out with the shape of something, a picture, pictures are a very universal thing, and then but they don't want to draw the whole thing, so they simplify it. And then they keep simplifying it, and the next thing you know, it doesn't look like the thing that they originally had meant for it to be. Like that one scene in SpongeBob where he draws a face, and then he erases some of the details and more details until it's a perfect circle, and it's like, well, that could be anything.
Well, first I draw this head, then I erased some of the more detailed features, and 1, 2, 3, a circle thing.
That's how we got Chinese writing, and then it just complicates things even more. But what's cool is like I got this One Piece manga. What's sometimes in like especially like books and stuff, like when they write the kanji, you'll see like those small little letters next to the kanji right there. Those small little hiragana characters next to the kanji tell you how to pronounce the kanji, so then you can just read that and figure out what the kanji is saying. So that's always pretty nice to try to figure out what all those 30,000 or so kanji are, or 50,000. I think it's 50,000. Yeah. So that's always nice that they usually write the hiragana next to the kanji. So yeah, I've been going through this book, trying to decipher the hidden messages in it. And yeah, that's me studying Japanese. Still trying to figure out how to read. Maybe at some point, it'll all just become Neo and I can see the code in the Matrix. So until then, Jana.